You've just been in a crash, and now you're juggling police reports, calls from the insurance company, and questions about fault, all before you've even caught your breath. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I mostly feel okay, and the visible property damage isn't that bad. Maybe I should just move on. But in Texas, one misstep can cost you thousands and kill your case before it begins. This video lays out the exact process after a car accident, from what to do at a scene to how to deal with insurance companies and negotiating, so you protect your health, your rights, and your settlement, instead of letting the insurance company decide how much you should get. What happens right after a car accident in Texas? Hi, I'm personal injury attorney Max the Axe, the gold standard in personal injury. And let's jump straight into what you need to know after being in a car accident in Texas. The very first step, right there at the crash scene, is to make sure that everyone is okay and call 911 if there appears to be any injuries. Once you've checked on everyone's safety, Texas law requires you to exchange information with the other driver. If the police come to the scene, they will usually file a police report, which will be extremely useful later on. Even if you feel mostly okay, or there's not a lot of visible property damage to the outside of the vehicles, don't just brush it off. Sometimes injuries take hours or days to set in. This is because your body's adrenaline system helps prevent you from feeling those injuries right after they happen. But no matter what, make sure that you take photos of everything: the scene, the vehicles, and anything else that could be useful. Skid marks, road signs, weather conditions, everything can be useful to you later on. You never know whether their testimony will be the make or break evidence to decide who's at fault. So why does this all matter? It's because the claims process actually begins right at the scene after the crash. And whether you realize it or not, these first few minutes can shape everything that happens after. Reporting the accident and notifying your insurance. As soon as you can, hopefully the same day or the next day, report this accident to your insurance company. In Texas, you're supposed to let your insurance company know if you've been in an accident, even when it's not your fault. And your own insurance policy probably requires prompt notification, which basically means that you can't wait around for weeks to let them know what happened. Some people worry that reporting an accident to their insurance company can cause their rates to go up, but it can get you in even more trouble if you try hiding it from them. Plus, most insurance companies do not raise rates unless you are the one at fault. Your insurance company will open a claim and assign an adjuster. This is the person who will investigate the case and determine how much your policy covers, how much the other driver's policy covers, and ultimately, who's at fault. Here's a tip. Just stick to the facts when talking to your insurance adjuster. You don't have to give a long story or admit fault. Just explain piece by piece what happened, if there was any damage, and if anyone got hurt. If you end up hiring a lawyer down the road, we would take over these conversations for you, but this is just in case you want to get the ball rolling without us. Investigation and gathering evidence. Now let's talk about what actually happens during the investigation phase. This is when the insurance adjusters, both yours and the one from the other driver, dig into what actually happened. They might review the police reports, talk to any witnesses, and they might even go to the scene themselves. They may also ask you to give a recorded statement. In Texas, you are not legally required to give any recorded statement to the other person's insurance company. And honestly, I tell my clients not to give one unless I'm there. This is because the insurance company's goal is not the same as yours. They want to pay as little money as possible to you, so they're going to be looking for reasons to reduce or completely deny your claim. Even if you're just being polite and you say things like, "I'm fine, how are you?" those words can actually be used against you to prove that you're not hurt. This is also the stage where having a lawyer can really help. We all know that evidence matters. Maybe there's a traffic camera nearby, or maybe the other driver has a history of reckless driving. In Texas, who's at fault matters a lot. It's called proportionate responsibility. This means that your compensation can be reduced by the percentage of blame that you share for the crash. However, if you're found to be more than 50% at fault for the crash, you can't recover anything. This is why every detail counts. You might be thinking, I only feel a little stiff or sore. Why do I need to see a doctor? Here's why. Some injuries, like whiplash or concussions, don't always show up immediately. And in Texas car accident claims, your medical records are key evidence. If you wait too long to get checked out, the insurance company will argue that you're not that hurt, or maybe something else caused your injury, not the crash. Go to all your doctor's appointments and follow their advice. Keep track of every bill and every report. Even things like over-the-counter pain medication or a brace that you buy at a pharmacy can matter as well. I cannot tell you how common of an argument it is from the insurance companies to say that, well, you waited too long to go to the doctor, therefore you couldn't have been that hurt, or something else is what caused the injury. I cannot tell you how common this is, that insurance companies give lowball offers because of the gap between the car accident and the first doctor's appointment. Write down how you're feeling each day, what hurts, where it hurts, and how it affects your life. Can you still work? Can you still pick up your kids the same? Do you have any problems sleeping? Everything is important and everything should go in the diary. These personal details help show how the injury has affected your life, and it means a lot when it comes to negotiating the settlement amount, calculating your damages. In Texas, you can claim two different types of damages, economic and non-economic. Economic damages are things like medical bills and lost wages if you miss time from work. Non-economic damages are pain and suffering, physical impairment, and mental anguish. For example, if you broke your leg in a car accident and you can't play with your kids or you can't go to the gym, these things matter. Or maybe you're a delivery driver and your car being out of commission means you lost weeks of pay. Add up every single cost. Don't forget about the future expenses, like ongoing physical therapy or lost earning capacity. In serious cases, you may need to bring in experts to talk about your future medical care or how these injuries will affect your ability to get a job. Insurance companies often use computer programs to spit out a settlement number. These programs don't always see the big picture, and they don't care about how your life has been affected. That's where the real negotiation comes in. 6. Making a demand and negotiating a settlement. Once you know what your case is worth, it's time to send a demand letter. This is a written document explaining what happened, how you were hurt, and what you're asking for. Your lawyer will usually put all of the evidence together: the medical records, the photos, the lost wages, and that diary that I mentioned earlier. The insurance company will review the demand letter and usually make a counteroffer. Don't be surprised if their first offer is low. This is normal. This is the opening move. It's not the final word. Negotiations can go back and forth for days, weeks, or months. Sometimes we'll go to what is called a mediation, where a neutral third party helps to negotiate a deal. In Texas, most car accident claims settle before they ever see a courtroom. But if the insurance company won't play fair, going to trial is always an option, filing a lawsuit if needed. Let's say that negotiations stall and the insurance company won't budge. In Texas, you generally have 2 years from the date of the accident to file a lawsuit. This is called the statute of limitations. If you miss this deadline, you could lose your right to sue forever. Filing a lawsuit sounds scary, but it's really just the next necessary step in the process. Sometimes just filing the lawsuit gets the insurance company to take your claim more seriously. After you filed suit, both sides will get to gather evidence from the other side in what is called discovery. You might have to answer some written questions, give an oral deposition, or go visit a doctor that's picked by the other side. Most cases settle before trial. If you do go all the way, a Texas jury will decide your case and how much you should get. The Texas jury system is the fairest way to resolve things, but they do expect to have all of your paperwork in order and all of your facts straight. That's where having a lawyer really counts. 8. Getting paid after a settlement or judgment. So once you reach a settlement or you win at trial, how do you actually get the money? After a settlement, the insurance company will send over some paperwork for you to sign. After you sign it, the insurance company will send a check to your lawyer's office. Your lawyer will pay any outstanding medical bills, the attorney's fees, and cut you a check for the remainder. If you win at trial, sometimes there's an appeal, which could delay payment. But once everything is final, the process works the same way. In some cases, the at-fault driver's insurance coverage is not enough to pay the amount, or the insurance company just drags their feet. And in Texas, there are ways to enforce the judgment even when they drag their feet, but it does take time. Some people ask me a lot, do I have to pay taxes on my settlement? And in most cases, you do not have to pay any taxes on the money you receive from your personal injury case. There is an exception if the insurance company itemizes the lost wage amount, where you would have to pay taxes on that amount. But for things like medical bills, pain and suffering, and mental anguish, those are tax-free. What if the other driver has no insurance or leaves the scene? Unfortunately, not every driver in Texas carries insurance, even when it's required by law. If you get hit by an uninsured driver or someone who flees the scene, you may still be able to recover through your own insurance policy. This is called uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. Not everyone buys this kind of coverage, but if you do, it can cover your injuries and your property damage. You can also look at other sources, like the at-fault driver's personal property. Enforcing a judgment like this can be tricky, but don't assume that you're out of luck. Key takeaways. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. In Texas, the claims process is a series of steps, one after the other. Each step matters, and one missing detail can cost you thousands. from the scene of the crash to talking to the insurance company to negotiating a fair settlement. It's important to have someone in your corner who knows the rules. Now, if you want to know how to protect your rights when dealing with a different type of claim, this one involving motorcycles, take a look at this next video. I will break down how if you've wrecked your bike and it's considered totaled, you can still receive compensation and get to keep your bike. Trust me, the answer may be a bit more complicated than you think. So please be sure to click, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you over there.